They told me not to scream, that the flame would find weakness in sound. That silence was the only offering that mattered. I didn't listen, bound to the obsidian altar, wrists blood-slick and trembling. I watched as the high priestess raised her hand toward the stars. The fire around me roared in a perfect circle, blue, unnatural, breathing. I wasn't just a sacrifice. I was the exchange, the human body meant to open the gate between realms. My name had been erased from the registry the moment they dragged me here. I was never supposed to be remembered, but something went wrong. The flames pulsed when I screamed, not in rejection, but in response. And then she came. She didn't walk, she descended. Like silk unraveling from heaven, the air bent around her shape. Her skin was iridescent silver, like metal caught in moonlight, and her eyes were the color of the void right before lightning strikes. She stepped barefoot into the circle of fire. Every priest screamed and fled, but she looked only at me. The fire bowed for her, literally parted, and when she reached for me, my skin didn't burn, it ached with heat. A hunger that wasn't mine began to bloom under my ribs. Like her touch had lit something inside I didn't know could burn. You called, she said, not with words, but a vibration in my bones. They offered you to me, but your fire, it answered mine. I didn't mean to, I choked, heart slamming in my chest. No, she purred, fingers tracing my jaw. You belonged to me before this ritual ever began. 30 seconds in, and every rule of life and death shattered. She didn't kill me. She claimed me, lifted me from the altar like I weighed nothing, and whispered in a tongue older than stars. My bindings turned to ash. My breath returned, but so did something else, desire, dark and ancient. Her lips hovered an inch from mine. They wanted me to burn your soul, but you're too beautiful to destroy. She led me into the fire, not threw it into it, and it didn't hurt. It wrapped around us like a womb, a cocoon of pure, pulsing energy that hummed against our skin like anticipation. She pressed me against the glowing wall and studied me like I was a weapon waiting to be unsheathed. You're not afraid, she whispered. I think I should be, I said, voice shaking. But you're not. No. Good. I don't want a slave. I want a storm. Her mouth found mine before I could respond. Soft, commanding. My knees buckled, and she held me steady with one arm around my waist, the other pressed to my chest like she was feeling the rhythm of my soul. The kiss was more than hit, it was language, possession, a vow. And then her voice slid into my thoughts like velvet. If you stay in this flame, you will not return to who you were, but you will become mine. I opened my eyes. I already am. The fire surged. The cocoon around us pulsed with energy as something ancient stirred awake inside me. Symbols burned across her skin, matching ones I could now feel under mine. As if the ritual hadn't summoned her, it had revealed me. I wasn't chosen. I was part of her, forgotten, buried, rewritten by humanity to be something I never was. She smiled slowly. Welcome back, my equal. And then the flame consumed us both, not in death, but in rebirth. The flame didn't burn us. It remembered us. I felt it like breath against my skin, like a lover's whisper through every nerve ending. She walked beside me through the molten light, her fingers still curled around my wrist knot, tight, not controlling, anchoring, like if she let go, I might float away, unmoored from time itself. My name meant nothing here, neither did earth, nor gods, nor the centuries of pain that brought me to that altar. Here, in her realm, Within the fire that answered only her, we were made of memory and heat. We were the ritual now. You're not entirely human anymore, she said, as we stepped into a chamber of flames suspended in endless black. There was no floor, just pressure, no light saucy, everything glowed. You were carved from fire long before they offered your body. They just didn't know it. I couldn't stop looking at her. Every movement was poetry, fluid and unhurried. Her silver skin shimmered like wet glass, her violet eyes glowing brighter the longer she held my gaze. "What are you?" I asked. She stepped closer until the distance between us disappeared. "I'm the one who never left. I've waited in every flame, every sacrifice, for the one with a voice strong enough to awaken me. They thought they created a god by killing humans, but you were the first to scream and survive." I swallowed, pulse trembling. "So now what?" She traced a single glowing finger down my chest. My breath hitched as warmth followed her touch, like a fuse waiting to ignite. "Now," she murmured, "I teach you how to burn." Her lips found mine again, but this kiss was deeper, less a question, more a claim. Her hand pressed against my sternum, and I felt something shift beneath my ribs. A second heartbeat, a memory of one. "Your soul is waking," she whispered. Into my mouth, my hands moved without thought, sliding up her back, memorizing the planes of her body, the tension just under her skin. She wanted me to touch her, not with fear, with need. And I gave in, because whatever was happening wasn't just seduction. It was alignment, completion. Her skin heated under mine, not burning but responding. Wherever I touched, energy pulsed. Beneath her flesh, golden white and alive. "You're not just mine," she said, voice shaking now. "You are me." I gasped as the chamber pulsed, as if the space itself reacted to our fusion. I couldn't tell where my breath ended and hers began. Time fractured. I felt her history rush through ancient wars, endless loneliness, centuries of waiting in sacrificial fires for someone who would not perish. "You were never meant to die," she whispered, pressing her forehead to mine. "You were meant to ignite." Then she took my hand and placed it over her heart. I expected warmth. What I felt was everything: fear, hunger, longing, lust, euphoria, love wild and untamed. "I want to know you," I said, breathless. "You already do," she whispered, "but let me show you anyway." She guided me to the center of the chamber. We lay down in the heart of the flame knot, as man and God, not as conqueror and prey, but as equals, entwined, electric, her body curled round, mine like a memory I'd forgotten I once lived through. Our heat wasn't destruction, it was creation. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of her, of the flame, of myself. "I can't go back," I whispered. She kissed me with a slow, possessive hunger. "You were never meant to." I woke inside her arms, not in a bed, not on ground, just within, suspended in a place where breath was optional and light bent to our skin. She held me like I was the answer she'd been waiting lifetimes to ask. Her leg tangled with mine. Her lips rested near my collarbone, soft and slightly parted, like she'd whispered truths to me in sleep. And maybe she had dot my body, pulsed hot, alive, different. Not just healed, reborn. The fire hadn't merely spared me, it had rewritten me. I felt it in my veins, liquid lightning, raw desire humming behind my fingertips, beneath my skin. I wasn't fully human anymore, and I didn't miss it. She stirred beside me, eyes opening like galaxies collapsing inward. her gaze fixed on me, instantly aware, instantly present. "You dreamed of me," she said. "Long before you saw me." I nodded. "I thought it was madness, or a fantasy." "It was a warning," she whispered, "and an invitation." I reached for her face, fingers brushing the line of her jaw. "Why me? Why not someone stronger? Someone," "You screamed," she said, cutting through my thought, "when everyone else offered silence. You screamed. And in that scream, I heard your name. Not the one they gave you, the one you had before Earth ever knew your face." Her hands moved down my chest, tracing the lines of new symbols that glowed like molten gold across my skin. My breath caught. Each touch felt like recognition, as though my body remembered her hands before my mind ever could. "This," she whispered, brushing her lips against my shoulder, "is a mark only my fire leaves. And now you carry it." I leaned into her touch. I didn't know what she wanted from me: devotion, obedience, maybe more. But all I could offer was truth. "You could have killed me." She smiled, slow and intimate. "I could have devoured. You consumed your soul, torn your mind apart in pleasure or pain. But I didn't." "Why?" "Because when you looked at me, you didn't see a goddess," she murmured. "You saw a woman, and I wanted to be that for you." Something in me cracked open. I pulled her close, mouth on hers, deeper than before. Not to take, but to give. My fire met hers now, no longer resisting, rising. Her nails dug into my shoulders, not in pain, but in warning. That if we kept going, there'd be no turning back. "I'm not afraid," I said, voice hoarse. "You should be," she breathed, "because this acid will burn everything you thought you were." Her legs wrapped around me, pulling me into her fully. Our bodies pressed together like matching pieces of a forgotten ritual. Her skin shimmered with every movement. Her breath was heat. Her voice became the only sound I could hear, like the fire itself muted for her dot. And then it happened. Our bodies aligned perfectly. The marks on our skin glowed brighter, synchronized pulses of gold and violet running across us both. She gasped into my mouth, her entire body trembling as the chamber exploded with light. We weren't just touching anymore. We were melding, energy, memory, sensations spilling over, knotting into each other like vines in heat. "I can feel your past," she whispered, tears in her voice. "Your loneliness, your ache to belong." "You were the ache," I said. "I just didn't know it had a name." She cried out, then not in pain, but something deeper. Pleasure twisted with grief, euphoria laced with surrender. We moved as one, fire pulsing through us like a second skin. This wasn't mating, this was binding. And when the flame dimmed, and her head rested on my chest, she said the words I didn't expect to hear. "You were meant to kill me too. You were meant to kill me too." The words echoed in the silence like the last note of a song that should never have been written. She didn't move. Her body lay against mine, warm and trembling, not from fear, but from confession. "What are you saying?" I asked, my hand slowly brushing through the silver waves of her hair. "I was the sacrifice. You were the god. I was supposed to die." She lifted her head, eyes gleaming with something between sorrow and fury. "That's what they told you. But the ritual wasn't designed to offer you to me. It was designed to erase me." I froze. "They used you," she continued, "not to awaken me, but to bind my power and snuff me out. A final key, the last human life infused with soul fire, the perfect ignition to break me apart." I sat up slowly, staring at the golden marks still glowing across my chest, mirroring hers. But I didn't die. No, she whispered. You screamed. Her fingers trailed down my abdomen, where heat still coiled from our joining. Your defiance shattered the spell. Your desire became a shield. Instead of burning me away, your fire chose me. Chose us. We sat together in silence, the flame-wrapped world pulsing gently around us like a slow heartbeat. My pulse had changed. It no longer beat for Earth. It beat for her. They'll come for you, I said. Whoever created this whatever priesthood or power thought they could control gods with blood, they'll come. She tilted her head. Then they'll find something they never expected. Us. I leaned forward, my lips brushing hers. Let them come. Her kiss this time wasn't slow or exploratory. It was urgent, fierce. Her fingers dug into my back as if anchoring herself to the only truth she believed in Naomi. We kissed like the fire around us, wild and licking at the edges of everything we used to be. I pulled her beneath me, feeling the ache return, no longer just hunger, but a need to fuse. She gasped as our skin connected again, the symbols between us glowing so bright the world around us blurred. Every inch of her responded like wildfire to touch. Her hips arched, her body pliant yet full of command, like she let me take control not because she had to, but because she craved it. Your body remembers me, she moaned. Even when your mind forgets, it remembers. I moved inside her with reverence and force. Her legs wrapped around me, locking us in place as if the universe might try to pull us apart. But nothing would. You think this is just sex, she whispered against my ear, but it's more. Every thrust, every breath, it rebinds what they tried to erase. I couldn't speak. I could barely think. Her body met mine in rhythm, in rage, in resurrection. The fire inside her rolled into mine until we were a single current surging, breaking, healing. She cried out, her head thrown back, eyes glowing like the core of a dying star. You're awakening something ancient, something I buried in myself, so I wouldn't miss you. I gripped her hips, our rhythm deepening, our heat peaking into something that felt like the end of creation. She screamed, not in pain, but in release, in ecstasy older than breath. The chamber cracked with light. My own cry joined hers as we spilled into each other completely. The fire around us expanding, consuming, sanctifying, and when the flames settled, we didn't move. Her hands cupped my face. Mine clutched her hips. We were tangled in the truth. They tried to use you to end me, she said softly, but you became the reason I exist. My voice was raw, trembling. Then we'll burn this world together. She smiled, and gods, it was terrifying. They came at dusk, 100 shadows wrapped in robes and fear, chanting the old words, blades drawn. Their holy fire dancing in lanterns, feeble imitations of the flame that pulsed in my chest. The ones who summoned gods just to cage them. The ones who chained men to altars and called it salvation. They came to finish the ritual. But the ritual had already changed. She stood beside me, naked in her glory, wrapped in smoke and skin like molten silver. Her hair coiled in living strands behind her like tendrils of stormlight. She didn't flinch when the sky cracked, didn't move when the priests raised their blades. They think you're still human, she said. I smiled. Let them find out. The moment their words touched the air, the fire answered not theirs, ours. It didn't burn in circles this time. It rose like a living wall of vengeance. I raised my hand, and flame licked across my arm in gold patterns, symbols of a power that no longer belonged to gods alone. She took my other hand, and together we walked. Each step forward shattered the illusion of control they'd built over centuries. The priests screamed, but not from fire, from recognition, from memory, because some of them remembered the old stories. The ones where gods didn't demand blood, they demanded balance. And the ones who broke it burned, their blades melted. Before reaching us, their chants unraveled into ash. And then, in silence, the world cracked open, not with violence. With ecstasy, she kissed me in the center of it, all our flames spiraling out, weaving into the sky. Our bodies still trembled from the bond that refused to fade, still humming with the rhythm we'd built in each other's arms. Her lips moved, against mine like a vow. This is our world now. I pulled her close. Then let's make it remember us. And we did. That night, we made love on the ruins of the altar they built to kill me. Her body curved into mine like it was carved from the same fire. Every gasp, every motion was sacred rebellion. She rode me in the open flame, not hiding from their screams, but singing above them. Our moans became thunder, our cries lightning. I held her hips, watched the stars swirl in her eyes as she moved wild, divine, mine. She leaned back, hair flaring like wings, chest glowing with violet light as our heat surged again. Every thrust echoed across the burning ruins. She came undone with a scream that cracked the sky, and I followed, spilling into her, giving everything I was, everything I had been. We collapsed into each other, ash falling like snow. The world didn't end that night, it changed. We walked out of the fire, arm in arm. They bowed those who survived, not to a god, not to a man, but to us. Her fingers curled in mine. We didn't just survive their ritual, she whispered. We rewrote it. I kissed her knuckles. Then let them sing of the night we burned the world into ours. And behind us, where the altar once stood, a single new flame rose, golden, eternal, a memory of love, of wrath, of us, the end.